Alright guys, I had somebody approach me looking for a set of plug-in feathers, which I didn't know what they were. Basically they're a stone splitting set where you have two feathers, which are two shims on either side, and a wedge that you drive down between slowly until the stone pops. I don't think I looked them up online. You can buy sets of them for not a lot of money, like $15 a set, $20 a set, and even less in some cases. But just to take that on as a challenge, I'm going to make a couple of these up and just see what happens. Most of them are made out of tool steel, which from cost alone, I'm not sure I could do that. Let alone do it, hand forge the things. But just to get an idea of what kind of abuse that steel needs to take, we're going to go ahead and make this a railroad spike project, just for tests. And to see the time and the what's involved. In reality, this spike it kind of lends itself in shape already, because we do want a wedge. So all I need to do really is kind of even this wedge shape out. I don't know if the head needs or should stay on or not. It probably wouldn't hurt to stay on. But I don't think this steel, even on a high carbon, the HC spikes. I'm not sure this steel will put up with the abuse that it's going to be put under, but I'm not sure. Maybe it will. So what's up we're going to do? Try to make a couple of sets of plug-in feathers for stone splitting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the natural bend that's in that, or taper that's in that spike, and I'm just going to pull it back, hopefully upsetting a little bit as I go. All right. By pulling it back, I hope to end up with a little more meat to play with at the top. Everything needs to be clean and smooth when we get done. And that is going to be the key, because for grinding and stuff, I don't want to have to mess around with hammer marks a whole lot. So I'm just taking this first one a little bit slow. And again, with my hammer, I'm trying to pull this back a little to try to move some meat up here. Now I only need about 4.5 to 5 inches, so I am going to end up just nipping this head right off of this thing. Now if I can get, maybe because I'm nipping these off, if I can get the feathers out of the same spike, maybe that'll help. But again, just bringing that back a little. I've never actually seen one of these, so I'm not sure what that taper looks like other than a picture. So we're kind of playing this by guess and by golly. I did mention you'd like it to go into a 3/4 inch hole when we get done, so that's what we're going to shoot for. Drop that. I was just looking at you. I was just looking at you. Just trying to get an idea of where we are at. We'll come back with that 2-pounder, kind of clean those hammer marks up a little bit. Right, let's just kind of clean everything up. Just blend out some of those deeper ones if we can. These sides aren't as important, but we still want it clean. We want that wedge to be relatively symmetrical, straight down the center. Now let's see what we got for length there. I think I'm about 3.5. Well, there's 4 inches. If we call it 5 to the top, nip that sucker right off there. Let me just go ahead and go a little farther up the shank here. Hopefully we're getting wider all the time. Now, let's just get this top finished. Just another 1/2 inch or so. Again, I'm not trying to do anything but clean it up a little. make sure that I have a growing wedge. I want to make sure I have a wedge. Growing taper all the way up through. And that we're relatively straight and centered in our taper. I think we're okay. I like that. As long as we have the right length now. Yeah, we're over 5 inches to that point there. Alright, let me go ahead and cut that off. I'll use an angle grinder for that just because I can. A little bit of a curve in this direction I don't like. It's kind of a semi-precision tool. So, alright, we're good with that. Let me cut it off. Alright, so there's the wedge part. I'm pleased with it. I think it's good. We're going to go ahead and quench this. We're going to harden it. I'm not sure what we're going to do about tempering. Because of the steel that we're using, probably do not need to do much tempering, or if any tempering at all. But let's harden this up. We're up to critical, and in the water we go. My high carbon railroad spikes, high carbon, the HC railroad spikes. I quench in water. Usually they're knives though. They're not something as heavy as this. So I'm not sure. Not at all liking what I'm getting there. Let me just do it again. Now we're going for the quench again. See about moving it around a little bit to get it cooled down a little quicker. See if we can get any more out of that spike. As far as the bite on this file goes, that's better. Alright, I'm pleased with that. You set that sucker off to the side. See about drawing out those feathers. I don't know if I'm going to have the material I need in here to do that. We're going to find out soon enough. Get that head mash down in. Get it into something workable. And we'll just start working it out. Figure, let's see, 3 inches in the hole, 3.5 inches in the hole. And the feathers, the reason they're called feathers, they have 2 little tabs that bend out at the top. So maybe about 4 inches each is what we're after. All we gotta do now is draw the sucker out. I forgot what I needed for that half round jig. Now we're going to get 8 inches out of this. Let's work on this other side a little bit. flip her around, see what we get. We're just gonna bring this other side down. I think it was like 5/16 we were after for that jig of mine. We're after a bit of a square, so we'll get rid of that round there. And we still got a lot more distorting to do here, but I want to try to make it even weighted down through as possible. Like I said, I don't think there's any way I can compete with a machine doing this. But that doesn't mean we can't make one or two. Even the rest of this stuff out a little. Seems like I got the length I need. Seems like it anyway. A little skinnier there. Again, I'm just trying to have the same weight as much as possible all the way down through there. It doesn't look too bad. All right, let's see what we get. It's about, I would say it's about 5/16 to 3/8. No, 5/16. And we're going to use, I just had it out, where'd I put it? This little rounding jig. I think that's 3/8, if I remember right. But we'll use that because we got it. We'll see exactly what we get for half round on this piece. Get some good heat on it. We'll go ahead and set her in a triangle here. Don't look too snabby at all, actually. Straighten her out a little slag on the side, but we can grind that. That's beautiful, actually. Looks nice. Very nice. Flip around and get the rest of it. All right, let's see if we can get the rest of this. I think we're okay. We gotta straighten her out. I got some flashing there, but I'd rather have flashing than not. Then I know that I've gotten the right width. So we'll straighten this up. I'm gonna go ahead, before I bend the feathers in, I'm gonna go ahead and grind it. And definitely enough steel there. What I'll do though, because I know I'm gonna need at least 2 of these to test. I'm gonna go through forging one more. I won't take you with me. Just starting with another spike and do the exact same thing over again. Alright, there are the components for the 2 plug and feather sets I want to make. We'll cut these in half, but first I'm going to grind them off, grind off the flashing. The second wedge took only 2 heats to make. This one, these are both hardened. These haven't been hardened yet. We're going to clean them up, cut them up, bend them up, then harden them up. Alright, there's the 4 feathers. I'm going to leave the ends that were on the end of the piece. These were like this. They're a little narrower. I'll leave those out and I'll bend those as the tabs and then insert these. Oh shoot, insert these in. But you can see how they go, and then the wedge, once those dog ears are out there, will go in between. And slowly but surely, they tell me, should split a rack if you got a bunch, enough of them. Alright, let's go ahead and bend these dog ears on. Just heat up these ends a little. I'm going to try one first and we'll get the rest of them in the fire. So I'm just going to put this in the vise so that I have about 1 inch or so sticking out, we'll use this as my scale. And just put a slight curve on it. And we'll tap out here on the end. Hopefully, when we get done, they'll all be about the same. Just a little relief for that wedge. And of course, we got to do this the same for all of them. We're damn close, so we don't have to actually, but we want to. So we'll get close anyway for our experiment today. A little more than that's good. And I'll be back when the other ones are done. All right, we got them all bent to about the same angle. We're going to go ahead and harden these up now in water. I'm going to have to temper these because these are pretty thin. The wedges, I don't think I'm going to temper. I'm going to let the heat from grinding do what it does, and we'll see how well they perform. All right, these guys are all hardened up, and they took a good hardness, so I'm a little worried that they're going to break. They're so small. So I'm going to temper those down. Let me clean them up a little bit, and I'm really going to temper them down, like down to bluish or something like that. All right, we got them cleaned up. I'm going to go ahead and temper these right down, probably to a bluish, right over the forge, nothing fancy. I don't think, this is just a test, and in the end, for the number that he needs, he's probably going to buy them, and he's going to buy them from some other place. But I just want to do a little project on this, and we'll see if we can split that little boulder of mine out there. To blue we go. And there's a quick little forge temper down. Not too bad. I don't think I went too far. But again, I wanted to soften them up. Again, this is all trial and error. All right, All right, the last step in doing this is going to be to clean these, get these things ground down. And again, I'm not going to be too delicate with heat on these because I don't mind them tempering a little bit. I'll be back when that's done. And I'll zoom back out too. Alright, we got the wedges cleaned up. I'll tell you, someday, alright, I'm going to do some hammering that is perfect. I guarantee it. I don't want any of this in here, but it is what it is. Again, I'm not selling these. I'm just testing these out. I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and wax these. I'll heat them up, forges out. I'll use a propane forge. We'll wax them up, put some beeswax on them. I think there's nothing wrong with doing that for this particular tool because that wax isn't going to hurt, that's for sure. Let me do that. The key is to do that without ruining the temper on either of these pieces, so we'll have to be a little careful about it. We'll just coat these up a couple of times. Alright, the only rock I have anywhere around is this giant boulder down here. I think one good whack with a sledgehammer would work. The mason that I was actually doing this for stopped by, and he thought maybe 4 of those wedges would be something that I would want, but we're going to try it with 2. We'll just see how they work. Get some water, and I'll just keep squirting water in there. It can't hurt to do that. I'll be back when I get these holes drilled. The problem is the feathers are so long, I really have to get down in there. For Christ's sake, missing the friggin' money shot. I couldn't get these holes to drill very deeply. I would burn out my hammer drill trying it. This stuff's hard stuff. And I put the wedges in. I'm sorry. I can't believe my luck sometimes. But I put the 2 wedges in the feathers in as far as they could go. And it just took a couple of taps on each side, and this thing split right open. And now I don't have a hammer drill to reproduce that, so I don't know what to tell you. One thing before I realized I wasn't videotaping is that I really haven't tested how hard these things are, and I'd really like to do that. I don't know. Let me see if I can come up with some other example. All right. People say Chandler struggles a lot. Ain't Chandler struggles, life fucks Chandler a lot. That's how it happens. But anyway, I hope this isn't a horrible idea. This is the best example I can give. did go down in there. It made something happen. Start up a little higher. Just trying to test. I mean, I'm not even marring the surface of the spike, so I think that's going to work fine. This is just hokey bullshit. You know, I'm going to do. I'm going to buy another hammer drill. I ain't got the freaking money. You know what I'm saying? Fuckers. So, this again is me testing this thing out. I was more worried about the spikes than the feathers, but in this situation, the feathers aren't in a freaking hole, you know what I mean? So they're going to bend. Shit. I think it's okay, I really do. I mean, I'm not going to sell it to the guy because it ain't the best steel. But just as a test, it split that sucker. I'm sorry you didn't see it. Even with all that hammering, gosh, these guys are still pretty damn. I mean, actually, they are straight. They got a nice little spring steel, a little bit of a warp in one of them. Nice little spring steel. Let me check these that I didn't do. See if maybe they were just a little crooked to begin with. No, they were pretty close. Going on there. Hammering on this didn't really affect it, and I know this is not a critical example. I don't know what else to do to show you. I hate to do this, but let's try it. We'll see how the end deals with it anyway. That's not how it's supposed to be used. But I'm just testing this, the hardening of that spike. Now, I'm not worried about the nose so much because we're not supposed to be doing this on the nose. I'm worried about deformation on the head, you know, feathering on the head. Alright, so freak the crap out of the nose. But that's okay, and that's what we wanted to do. Round one didn't break. Alright, so the hardening in there is, I think, it's not, the hardening in there is okay. And up on the top, man, it's really barely flattening it out from what I had on there. I think it's okay. I think that the son of a bitch would work. It's just so sad. I burnt my goddamn drill out. Son of a bitch. I wonder if we have enough room to bite into here without total freaking fuck up. Still recording because that's what you weren't doing before. Get in there, feather. You can almost see it. It'll just blow out the sides, but I'm telling you, I tightened the one hole and then I tightened the other hole and I went back and one hit each on both of them, and that's all it took. The rock to split right now. That's all I'm saying. I'm sorry that the video I don't have a good test for it, but in the end, I believe I wouldn't sell these to a mason, but if I needed to split some rock, some granite like that, wherever it's spike, and about, well, it depends on how big the rock is, right? A few of those sets would work. So there you have it. I can't see what you can see. I'm gonna call that a the hell did they call it? Plug and feather. All right, hand force plug and feather for splitting rock. I think that'll work. I think it will. I think it'll hold up long enough to do whatever you need to do for a rock or two anyway. That's all I got to say. I'm sorry. You know what? Sometimes, yeah. I hope you enjoyed it anyway. And it's something worth something. Give it a try. Just talking because I'm so upset. Freaking life. I don't really give a shit. It's just I want the video to be good. You know what I mean? Oh well. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. I think this is pretty cool. We got all of this out of one spike. 4 or 5 inches of this taper. Hard, had to double quench it. Right, that's the double quench the thing, and it got harder on the second try. And I did almost no tempering to this. Tempered it on the grinder as it was grinding it, and then whatever heat it absorbed from the from putting the wax on. All right, which probably gave it a little temper. And then these guys were the head of the what's left of the spike. Drew those out into my little half-round swage, and split that in half. I got about 12 inches on. Of length out of that, out of both of them, and then just curl those things back, drill a hole, 3/4 inch hole is what I was using, and get that stuck in there and start just tap 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 all the way around your rock. I think it'll work. I won't guarantee it, but I think it'll work. Hope you enjoy this video. Bye. If you found this video helpful, educational, maybe even if you just found it entertaining, and you want to support me, you can jump back to my channel. There's a button on the right hand side of the screen called support, and it's kind of like a tip jar. You can go ahead and leave a tip for this video, and that'll help me make some more, I guarantee. Thanks for your support as always.